a good boy, such a handsome boy. Hello everyone, my name is Carol and this is my lovely, lovely fur baby Uko, my Australian Shepherd. He's going to be my co-star today. He's going to help me go over a plant of the day today. The plant we're going to go over today is a Calathea rufibarba, bluegrass. I have another rufibarba, the more common one, also known as a fuzzy feather Calathea that has the purple underneath the leaves. This one, a little harder to come by, but she's stunning. You can see how it has that kind of a blue tint to it as the light bounces off the leaves. Still has a fuzzy feel to it. It's hard to not stroke these leaves. They are just so soft to the touch. So this plant is from South American rainforests, Brazil, that area around there. It would be on the forest floor getting some dapple light through the canopy of the trees. Even though it sounds like it would be a dark area, it is not, because it's closer to the equator, stronger sun. So it does light bright and direct light. East facing window if you're in the north. If you're in the south, you would want a west facing window. You want to make sure with any Calathea in general, especially this one, that you don't have direct light hit the leaves. These leaves are super, super thin and very delicate, and they would scorch in no time from direct light on the leaves. It also leads to, if you want to make sure it does get enough light, because it will lose this beautiful blue kind of tinge and the green contrast, and it will start to lose that coloring. If it's in too low of light, it'll kind of dull all the color. As far as watering, it's just like any other Calathea, right, Uko? Just like any other Calathea. Calatheas, pear plants in general, they do not like any kind of soluble material in their water, especially salts, any kind of mineral like that. It gets caught in the cells in their leaves and they burst, then they dry up, and they get tips that are brown and crispy. So you want to stay with rainwater is great. That's mother's milk to plants. That's what they would get in the wild. If you have a way to catch that and put it in bottles for your plants, you can't go wrong. Distilled water, filtered water, and this plant will love you for it. It's just like any other Calathea with water as well. It does like a soil to stay moist. It does not like to drop into that dry section. As far as a moisture meter, if you have something like that, you don't want to let it drop into the dry end of that moisture meter. You always want to try and keep it moist, but not soggy, because they have a very fine root system. Most Calatheas do, this type anyway. They will get root rot, and that will lead to a huge issue where you have to do treatments, cut it back, repot it, get new soil. It can be a nightmare. So you really want to try and keep it on that moist side, but not soggy. The best way to do that is have a well-draining soil. I always make sure that I buy something specifically made and already mixed for Calathea, because I really don't have a lot of room in my home to be keeping bags of charcoal and perlite and leca and stuff like that to make my own mixture. At some point, that's the goal, to get a bigger place where I can have storage, like maybe a little she shed, and then I'll be able to have all my stuff and make my own soil. But until then, I just buy something specifically packaged that has a really great reviews on Amazon, or at this point, I'm still getting it from Rhizome's plant shop in North Carolina. As far as drainage, you can also help the soil, whatever soil you have for the plant, by keeping it in a planter's pot that has really good drainage. That way, whenever you water your plant, it can just drain anything it doesn't want, anything that is excess, through those slits in the bottom of the pot, and you can just dump it in a half an hour or so. just dump the excess and your plant will be super, super happy. As far as humidity, this is a plant that does not like to drop below 50%. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna say, I'm even gonna go to the point where I feel like it does not like to drop below 60%. Just like my other Calathea rufibarba, it does not like it. The leaves are super sensitive, especially to direct drafts from any kind of vent, even if it's like 2 feet away from a vent. If that vent is kicking on and you see the leaves moving, you're gonna get issues with the leaves. They're gonna get crispy ends. They're gonna have issues. I still find that my plants, even if they get those crispy tips, especially this plant in general, they still look absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't really take that much away from the plant. And you can just actually, especially with this plant, you can just trim off those tips and it will not harm the rest of the leaf. It'll keep it looking fresh and clean for you. So as far as temperatures, this plant does like temperatures between, I would say, 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm having trouble converting at this point into Celsius, but you know, you have calculators the rest of the world to calculate from Fahrenheit to Celsius. As far as fertilizing, I love anything organic for my Calatheas. You know I'm addicted to the liquid dirt. That way, you know, it lasts forever, it's organic, it's stable, and it's less likely to burn the roots of the plant and give it a fertilizer burn. You can adjust the dosage, the amount that you would put into the watering. I will, as long as my plant's growing throughout the year, give it a half strength to quarter strength throughout the year, and of that fertilizer along with worm castings, and my plants love it. You always want to make sure that these leaves stay nice and clean. I do want to point out that with this plant, especially this plant, you do not want to use any sink water that is not filtered. If you do, it is going to burn the leaves. The leaves are not going to handle it well. I had a big, super lush plant last year with my my other Calathea rufibarba, and I saw a spider webbing that I mistaked for spider mites, and I panicked and I just doused her with sink water, and it turned out to be a spider that still found a way to hang in there and built its web again. And I was like, oh man, I just doused her for no reason. And I did harm her leaves, so I had to cut back quite a bit of her leaves that had got crisped up from the salts and the chemicals in the water that I have. That it's really hard water. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna wanna use filtered water to clean off the leaves. I would clean them maybe once a month to help with the chlorophyll being able to find the sun through the leaves and make the magic fuel needed for this plant to grow and to thrive. As far as, let's see, pests, this can get anything. Spider mites absolutely adore this plant. It's a spider mite magnet, just like any other Calathea. It can get mealybugs, aphids, scale, the whole gamut. But I kind of feel like it's more of a mealybug, spider mite thing. But I could see the whole aphid thing going really wrong with this plant too. So I would normally use my mixture that I use of, maybe 2 tablespoons of Dawn soap, 2 tablespoons of neem oil with distilled water, a gallon of that. Shake it up. You can store that. It stays pretty stable. And then you can treat the plant if you get any kind of spider mite infestation or any kind of infestation in general. You can also use directly the neem oil, but again, my disclaimer is every household is different. Different companies make neem oil. You always want to go with the manufacturer's suggestion and just treat one leaf and see how your plant handles that. You never, especially with neem oil, You never want to water it and then put it in direct light. That's for any plant because it is an oil, and oil and heat do not go well together, and you will fry the plant, you will fry the leaves. So if you're gonna use any kind of neem oil to treat any kind of pests that you might find in your plants, you're gonna wanna treat it really, really early in the morning or really late in the evening after the sun has set. And it gives that oil, that treatment, plenty of time to dry, so it won't be an issue, it won't burn the leaves. Other diseases that this plant can get, it can get a leaf spot, it can get root rot because it has a really, really fine system of roots. So the leaf spot I've seen on my other plant, I saw it on a couple leaves, I cut it off, I treated it, and it has not spread to the rest of the plant. But these plants in general are very, very sensitive to that. So you just have to keep an eye out for any shenanigans. As long as you do that and you give it the best care you can, it's going to give you loads and loads of beautiful growth and beauty for you to enjoy. So until next time, Ugo and I are going to hang out. We're going to take care of our plants. If you have any other suggestions for this beautiful plant or its cousin, the rufibarba, that has the fuzzy feather that's more commonly found, care tips for that, feel free to leave it in the comment section. We can always learn from each other, and as a community, we can be stronger plant parents for it. If you have any questions regarding care for this beautiful plant, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you found this helpful. And until next time, do not forget to give your plants lots of planty love.